Exactly. That's the question a lot of people seem to be asking. If this, will, exported in Naira, will that stop the depreciation of the Naira?
Well, the Naira actually hasn't really been depreciating. If you look in the last 6 months, it stayed stable at the parallel market from 363 to 365. And so really, I don't think it's really going to play a major role in determining the actual exchange rate. If anything, it could maybe be helpful. It could lead to a marginal appreciation against the pound, the Naira against the pound, noting that there's not that much demand of the pound anymore, since now we can pay Naira. But that being said, I think it's really just boils down to the CBN's intervention in the market. That is really what is just going to determine the outlook for the exchange rate in the coming months.
No, looking at the commodity in focus, that's peanut. Is it a commodity we can actually export to the UK?
Well, yes, the UK is one of the major, peanut butter is really hot in the UK industry. And so you have, especially looking at areas in up north in Manchester, the peanut industries, they go wild for it. But I think it'll be good if we could definitely look into importing that, whether it's the crushed product that they can then put into their ingredients into the peanut butter or as a raw material. So I think there's already a little bit of export going on in between Nigeria and the UK, but it's still very minimal. It's almost insignificant.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, Damilare.
Thank you for having me.
Damilare Adeshola is one of the research analysts with Financial Derivatives Company. Well, Anambra State is one of Nigeria's most industrialized states in the southeast region of the country, with over 60 hectares of land already made available for the established ban of an automotive industrial cluster within the state. Now, the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Mark Okoye, had an exchange with Channel's business producer, Temple Ashaju, on the state's funding roles for the project.
ANSIPA was created about 4 years ago. ANSIPA is the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency. Its role is to attract, to facilitate investment, both internationally, domestically, and indigenous investments into the state. That they've already done excellently well over the last 4 years. Right now, it's a government in transition from one term to the second term. What we are doing is taking stock of areas we've done well, we want to improve on them. Areas we haven't done so well, we want to turn them around, profile it, x-ray it, and figure out a way to set it on the right path for improvement. Here in Nnewi, Nnewi is what we call the Tokyo of Africa, the Japan of Africa. The plans for Nnewi are abundant. One of them is as follows. The state government also is exploring plans, about to finalize plans, to build an industrial cluster in Nnewi. Number two, the state government also historically, about last year, provided 16 hours to Nnewi industrial community. No one talks about that, but that's one area that it was the sole responsibility of the federal government through NIPP. But the state saw how important and pertinent it was for Nnewi to get power, and hence completed a project that provides parts of the business community in Nnewi and some residential areas 14-15 hours of power daily to support their industries. In addition to what we're thinking of also is we want to create development authorities for both Nnewi and also Onitsha. What is the role of development authorities? This development would have its own budget that would be concentrated on improving the level of infrastructure in Nnewi and also regulating the development control and town planning for Nnewi. They would also be the custodians of the master plan for Nnewi. We have a view in Anambra State government that we should now be investing in places, in infrastructure, in places that provide us greater proportions of tax potential. Nnewi is one of them, Onitsha is the other, and parts of Awka is that. These three cities would get concentrated and focused investments in infrastructure over the next 4 years. You can see that in the 2018 budget. If you aggregate the amount of interventions across our three cities, they account for almost 75% of that budget, which shows you the policy direction of the state and what we intend to do. These are a number of things. There are a number of other incentives, but these are just a few that I wanted to share.
But do we have like a timeline we're looking at for the completion of this automotive industrial park?
It's a consortium that includes a collaboration between the federal, which is National Automotive Development Office, and also Anambra State Government and some private sector individuals. We have done our bit, which was to provide over 60 hectares of land to the agency, and I understand now that they are working on the feasibility studies and that by next year they should commence construction. We can't wait for it, and we are willing to support it in any way, shape or form. The governor is very passionate about this project, very passionate about industrialization. And the second we can see more additional areas to support this program, we will. The mere fact that you have about 5 different, the deputy governor was here, I was here, the permanent secretary for the Ministry of Industry was here, 4 other very senior government officials were here. This shows sign of seriousness. It shows a sign of commitment to ensure that this project gets off the ground extremely quickly.
And when we come back after the break, we will get to profile the Nigerian energy sector in 2018. Just stay with us.